Howdy folks, Nathan here, and happy Halloween. Well, it's coming up, right? And because of that, I have the opportunity to read you a list of the top 10 scary car movies. So number 10 on our list is Freeway. This is a 1996 movie with Reese Witherspoon. It's one of her earlier movies, and it's sort of a retake of Little Red Riding Hood. And it's not really that gory. It's a little unusual, it's a little tense, and it's very creepy. And I highly recommend it. It's one of those movies you'll see once, you'll remember it because it's kind of weird, and then you'll forget all about it in 2 years. Okay, the next one is Joyride. Now, this is a 2001 film with the late Paul Walker, and basically the film has to do with people screwing around with a truck driver using CB. It's kind of scary. It has some fun parts in it. Steven Zahn's in it as well, and he does some great commentary. He's a lot of fun in the movie. So it's entertaining, it's a little scary, and some people might find it a little uncomfortable to watch because there's some real sadistic things happening in the movie. Let's move on to number 8, which is Highwayman. Now, this has Jim Caviezel, I think I said that right, Caviezel, and it's a revenge film, it's a scary film. It deals with a guy with a 1972 Cadillac Eldorado, and he is stealing people and killing people. And Jim Caviezel is in a 1968 Plymouth Barracuda, which is really freaking awesome, chasing after the bad guy. And it's revenge because his woman was taken from him. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty intense in certain scenes, but the plot is really weird and kind of convoluted. You guys watch it and you tell me what you think. It's weird. The next one, number 7, is The Wraith. Now, this is a Charlie Sheen movie. It's a child of the 80s. I mean, this is such an 80s movie. It really is like if you say 1980s movie, there's a picture of that movie right there. Because of all the teeny bopper stuff that they have going on. It was actually made in 1986, and among the other things that it has in the movie, it has a special car that Dodge built, and watch the movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically it's a revenge movie. Charlie Sheen's character is killed and comes back and gets the bad guys and does horrible things to them. It's not really that scary, I don't think it is, but it's kind of cool. It's fun to watch at least once. Now, the number 6 is the first of 2 Stephen King movies on this list, and it's Maximum Overdrive. This is it was a fun movie. I actually went to the movie theaters and saw this when I was very young. Well, I was in high school. Okay, it's a 1986 movie that basically deals with large vehicles being taken over by an unusual force, and they start killing people. It has Emilio Estevez in it, and I think it's a really fun Halloween movie. Some fun stuff in there and some ridiculous stuff. Not one of Stephen King's best book-to-movie transitions, but it's a fun one nonetheless. Number 5, now this movie creeped me out when I was a kid, and it's called The Car. This movie was originally produced in 1977, and it deals with a vehicle, I believe it's a Lincoln that was remade by a Barris and turned into a car that will go and run people over and kill them and terrorize them and whatnot. And the cool thing about the movie is that it's definitely done on a really low budget, like a really, really low budget, but it's a lot of fun to watch. And it is pretty creepy. It definitely has a creepy vibe to it. And I highly recommend it. Once again, another one of those movies I'll watch once and you will remember it, basically because it's just so unusual. One thing about the Car movie is that it has James Brolin in it. And I noticed that his deputies in the movie cry a lot. I'm not kidding. Watch it and see. And that goes up to The Hitcher. That's a 1986 film with Rutger Hauer in it. And C. Thomas Howell is the good guy. Rutger Hauer is the murderous, horrible person. A lot of things happen in this movie. There is a truck scene in particular where C. Thomas Howell's girlfriend is tied to a truck and a trailer, and she is, you'll have to watch the movie and find out. Yep. It's pretty good. It's a lot of fun. They actually had a remake of it, which wasn't as good, I didn't think. So I don't know why they remade that. Number 3 on this list. Now you guys are gonna argue with me and say, no, that's not a car movie, but it is. And it's Jeepers Creepers, the first one. Actually, the second one is sort of a car movie as well because there's a bus in that one. But this one, it features an unusual cab-over vehicle that is used partially to terrorize people on the road. And the main evil character is a hillbilly, redneck, bat-like creature that tears components off other people and uses them. Yeah, go figure. It was popular enough to make a third movie, which is coming out, I believe, within the next few weeks. And, you know, it's kind of cool, but one of my favorite things is the truck that's in there. I'm not going to give away what type of truck it is. I want to see if you guys know. By the way, if you say it's an REO truck, an REO Speedwagon or whatever, you'd be wrong. It's not. I thought it was too at first. But look it up and find out. By the way, the license plate on there is BEATNU or BTNU. BEATNGU. That's on the Sinister truck. I think that's cool. Number 2 is a classic, and it's called Duel. Duel was one of Steven Spielberg's first movies as a director, and it wasn't even really a movie. It was made in 1971, and it was actually made for TV, but it was so well done, and the accolades that he received from that movie really helped push him upward in the Hollywood ranks. Now, Duel featured quite a few things in there, but one thing it didn't feature was a very big cast. It really just had a couple people, and the main person was Dennis Weaver, who drove a red Plymouth, and basically the entire story deals with a psycho truck driver who's terrorizing a guy driving a car. It's pretty cool, actually. And it's another one of those movies that just feels a little bit creepier than perhaps you would think. You know, when you first watch it, it's a little slow, it's a little boring, but give it time. It actually really starts to build up, and the last act of the movie is fantastic. Highly recommend it. Once again, it wasn't even made to be a real Hollywood movie. Interesting, right? Number 1, this should be no surprise. You guys know this. You have to know this. If you don't know it, shame on you. Christine. Now, not only was this movie based on a Stephen King book, but it came out in 1983, and it was put together by John Carpenter. John Carpenter is the same guy who did The Thing, Prince of Darkness, Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York. He's one of my favorite directors, and he directed this movie. Now, unlike all the other ones on this list, Christine literally is just made for Halloween. It really has the vibe. It is a homicidal vehicle. It's a 1958 Plymouth Fury, and it just fits. The whole damn car fits in the movie. It's great. I highly recommend it. It is, in my mind, one of the best transitions of Stephen King's book to a movie, possibly with the exception of the recent movie, It. And we have a bonus, and the bonus, of course, is Death Proof. Now, this is a fairly recent movie from Quentin Tarantino, and it has some interesting characters in it, including Kurt Russell. Watch it, especially near the it's a little slow at first, but keep watching it and see what happens near the end. It's pretty intense. It's fairly horrific. It is not for children, okay? I might joke about it, but really, flying body parts and everything, you really don't want to see the end with kids around you. Okay, guys, if you have any suggestions, any movies that you want us to add, write them down below. Maybe next year we'll do this list again with your suggestions. Have a happy and safe Halloween from the Fastlane car. This is Nathan Adlin. I will see you next time.